Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hot Mess Unfiltered, where love, mess, and healing meet. Today, we're going to talk about red flags, and we're going to cut through the fluff and we're just going to get down to basics. Now, I discuss red flags from a woman's point of view because I'm a woman. So, I have invited David Jones, who is the CEO and co founder of Hello LLC, to join me today so that he can give us a male perspective. Welcome, David.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? I am so excited for this conversation. It's about to get real. It's about to get raw. And Miss Denise don't know who the hell she invited, but I'm about to tell you the truth.
All right, that's where we're at. So we're gonna cut through the fluff. David's already told you that. What are
That is
red
easy.
flags? They're those little warning signals that you've been conveniently ignoring because what love conquers all. Girl, that love don't fix crazy. And there's a lot of crazy out here. It doesn't fix inconsistency, and it damn sure doesn't fix disrespect. So if you're waving off these red flags like they're confetti falling in Times Square on New Year's Eve, then you're setting yourself up for drama, heartbreak, and a whole lot of wasted energy. So buckle up because we're getting ready to call out the behaviors, the excuses, and yes, your own denial. So let's go. So, red flags. Here's the tea. Red flag is anything someone does that shows you they may not be good for you. It's a warning light. It's not a suggestion. It's not a challenge. It is a warning. And no, it's not just about abuse or extreme drama. Sometimes it's tiny little sneaky shit that people do. For example, flaky text. You send somebody a text, they text you back K. They're too damn lazy to even put the O in front of it. Or they ignore your message for several days and then turn around and text you, hey, last minute canceling of a date and then texting you, I'm sorry, something else came up. It can also be subtle insults disguised as jokes like, your wig must be too tight. Girl, they are calling you stupid. And then pushing boundaries like they own you. For example, going through your phone, constant texting, and ignoring a firm no when you say no to sex or intimacy. And one of the big ones is gaslighting you until you question your own sanity, like twisting events to shift the blame on you, saying you did or said something you know you didn't say. But it's your gut whispering, oh, that's not paranoia, that's survival. Listen, it's literally trying to save your life emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Now, David, those are the red flags that we see as women. Are they different from men? And if so, what are they?
Well, one of the things that you just hit for me, especially, the text message and shit. You know, I know your ass got your phone on you 24/7, and I'm watching you look at your phone at least 50 times in the last 10 minutes. And when I text your ass and you don't hit me back, or I see you've read my shit and you are not responding to me, and I will say for me, Miss Denise, the K, right? I'm okay with that. I mean, especially now for my generation, I'm okay with a K, right? Or you might get the emoji. I don't make that big of a deal. Just respond is better than no respond in my eyes. So I'm not going to be particular on how you say things. But we all know that sneaky shit, and especially when it comes down for us as guys, and I can only imagine what people go through now, because I just have to be completely honest. I'm 15 years out of the game, so what I'm talking about might come off old school than a mofo, but especially on the new tech and utilizing social media and just technology in itself, right? Especially what you talked about with, having that. Just imagine back in the day, you didn't have that. I remember, sneaking on the phone and having the cord in the room And that being, something, and a girl falling asleep, that would be a red flag for my ass. So you're not talking on the phone, and I'm asking all the questions. And so today's generation and our generation, is different, but we all know when somebody's being shady, especially with the energy, with the frequency, and we know. Right now, earlier I got told today, a conclusion, still is a delusion at the end of the day. And I know I messed that up, but either way, we have to be able to not allow other people's lack of integrity get to us as well. And being able to understand that other people's red flags might just be something that, we do more that irritates us as well. So I got to call that out as well, knowing what I know now. What we see in other people and what we see as a red flag is some things that our ass probably does more than anybody else does. So hopefully that answers your question, Mr. Nice.
It does. And what do you think about the gaslighting? Who do you think do it more, men or women? Or is it an equal
Oh,
opportunity fuck up?
women for sure, for sure. I'm not, and as I tell Tara ass, look, I'm not gonna make no sly ass comments until your ass makes some sly comments. Now, I might make some sly ass comments after we got in an argument or something, and I ain't got to say what I needed to say. And so if you say some stupid shit, I'm gonna take my jab, especially if you say something that is a little touchy, feely. That could be for me. But I know women take more of a sly joke living with my sister, having my mother. They messy asses is just flat out women in my life. That's what I'm gonna say.
Now, I think that men sometimes also gaslight because they all of a sudden get amnesia and they don't remember what they said. And then they've got you sitting there figuring out, well, did I say that or did I not say it? So now that's what I deal with a lot. So we'll
Now I'm not
call
gonna
it
bullshit you in
even.
there. No, no, hell no, no, no. I have not even my ass. My own father, growing up with him, his ass would act like he didn't say shit and play amnesia. Like, oh, did I say you were a dumbass and that you weren't shit and cuss you out last night? I'm my bad. I don't remember saying that. I'm like, yeah, your ass said that shit. And so it's just another defense that I think a lot of us use to say that we don't remember knowing that we said it, especially I'll say from a man's point of view in an argument. And I just did a live on this, how do you handle your upset? Do you hit the booze? Do you hit the smoke? Do you go work out? What do you do when you get upset? And a lot of the times we do turn to that bottle or we do turn to something that's not good for us. And then we also run this story in our head that makes us look good to not take ownership and hold ourselves accountable at the end of the day. So we lie, right? And we
That
come up
part
with this
right there.
bullshit.
Yep,
We
that
come up
right
with this
there.
bullshit that then we say, oh, I don't remember, or oh, it was this bullshit. Your ass remembers. Your ass absolutely remembers. You just trying to act like you don't remember so you don't have to take accountability. And I know that from my father. I know that in relationship. I just know that in friendship, just in all, that's the bullshit. And I think at some point we know when the bullshit arrives, when people are selling the stash.
Right. And that's the main point. We have to know and pick up. Now, this here is a bunch of shit. There's no way in hell that you are that demented that you don't remember what you did or said 2 minutes ago. So we see all this crap going on, right? And yet we still ignore the red flags. So the point is, why do we do it? And we need to stop that shit already. I'm going to tell you why we ignore it. Familiar chaos feels like passion. So if your past was messy, drama feels like love. But I'm going to tell you it's not. Or you hope they'll change. Newsflash, they don't change. They rarely do because you can't rewrite someone else's character. And also, the main one to me is fear of being alone because better alone than miserable. That's the end of the story. You don't want to be in this life miserable. In that crap, don't deal with it. And then you got society pressure because you got your family. Well, I think he's a nice guy or she's a nice girl. Like, look, they don't live in your relationship. Tell them to shut the fuck up and do you. Listen, red flags ignored equal red flags repeated. And your brain can lie to you about this. Stop listening to the lies and listen to the red flags. Now that's why women do it. I'm gonna give you your shot now, David.
You know, I think you said something that was huge. His past is messy, and drama feels like love. And growing up in my household, my father went through an abusive, childhood, and those traumas and those triggers and those behaviors, he picked up. And I share with people, eventually what you hate, you become if you're not aware of those patterns that you hate so much, that then you hate them so much, you start picking up on those things. Like I said earlier, that we hate things that other people do because we do them the most. And so I think this is an ongoing pattern that we really have to separate ourselves, which is I had to do, right? And understanding the pattern and the trauma that I went through of making sure that I get loud, call people names, play the silent treatment, and then put your ass on probation. That's the cycle of when I get mad or when I get upset, and those are my red flags. And I think a lot of the times, if you're not willing to understand your red flags and know who the hell you are, you can't be calling out other people's shit. And so I think that that's really the biggest things, is that we can talk about other people's red flags, but you better make sure your doorstep is clean first. And you better be able to be onerous of those things when they pop up. Because when you do those things, you show the other person that, hey, your ass is being responsible and they can be responsible. But at the end of the day, you have to be aware of those red flags. And is it a red flag, or is it a trauma? Is it a pattern? Right? Or is this person just who they is, and they ass is not going to change? Because that old dog sitting on that nail is going to howl and howl and howl until his ass ain't going to be able to howl no more. And it's just not going to roll over those 2 inches. And so you got to be able to understand that red flag ain't going to serve your ass the right justice. Then you got to go.
I agree with you, David, that a lot of the stuff that people do comes from their upbringing. If you had a parent that was very loving, hugging, made you feel good, yeah, then you don't really have to go around and pretend to be these different things that you throw up as red flags. However, that's not how it is for everyone. And so these people then put in these traits to protect themselves, but what they really do is they isolate themselves. Because I know, if when I was way back when in that dating field, if someone started to get close to me, I'd leave the relationship. I didn't want that. So that's a red flag to anybody it should have been that dealt with me. She's only here for a minute and her ass is jetting
Hold
because she
on. Now
doesn't want to take.
hold on. Now you was talking earlier about men being about the panani. Now I'm gonna call your ass out. Now you was around there for the D. What that sounds like.
No, I was getting away before I had to give it to you.
Okay. All right. All right. All right.
And then I was going to jet. But again,
You gonna make sure you don't take you out to eat in the movies, and then you out at the second date.
hey, you're gonna need to do more than dating the movies. I can feed myself and go to the movies. So you're gonna have to come bigger than that. And I ain't talking about no damn Red Lobster. But
Hold on.
but
What's wrong
really,
with the biscuits? What's wrong with the biscuits? Unlimited biscuits, unlimited pasta, girl. You know we can do.
I buy my own biscuits, David. I buy my own damn biscuits.
So I got
But
a funny
again,
story talking about Red Lobster. I got a funny
okay,
story. So we talking about upbringing, right? So
right.
funny story. My mom, my sister, and me went to Red Lobster, and my mom said, hey, let's skip the bill. And I was like, Mama, you sure? We end up skipping the bill. And so that is just a learned lesson of shit that you learn that you think is okay, like you said earlier, right? That you think is okay and you don't know, but you just did it. And so that's just a pattern that some people learn. I don't do that, but that's something we did do as an example, since you sprung up Blue Red Lobster. Came to my mind.
Right. And I used to have, I worked in management a while in a nursing facility. And I would have these girls that would think, girl, he took me to Red Lobster. And I'm like, that cheap ass date. But I couldn't say it, but you were ready to give this man the world over some biscuits, some cheese
But
biscuits.
that's true. Skipping
So
back in the day was fire. I don't know what you're talking about.
okay, I'm sorry, David. I set my sights higher. So, what are some of the most ignored red flags? I'm gonna be specific here, not Pacific, on what people pretend don't exist. And one of the big ones is they disrespect your boundaries. And remember, in the last episode, I said boundaries protect you from bullshit. And people have a problem setting boundaries. But if you set a boundary and they push and ignore and manipulate you, that's not love, it's control. And some people look at that as love. Also, inconsistency, ghosting you, appearing, disappearing, appearing, and they only show up on their terms. Red flag, period, because they need to be there if they're in this relationship on a regular basis. Then there's the blame game. Everything's your fault. Nothing is ever theirs. If you run up on someone like that, you need to run. Get your ass out of there, because in that relationship, you will never do anything that is right. And then love bombings. For example, let's just say you met this new person, and after 1 week, they're telling you they can't live without you. You're cute. That is crazy. That's definitely a red flag. That is someone you need to get away from. And your sanity is telling you, oh, this here is not right. But your stupid side is saying, oh, he really loved me. He want don't nobody love nobody. This is not no Hallmark movie. Don't nobody have this love at first sight. Let's say 1 out of 1 million may have it every 10 years. You have to realize the crazy from love. And for some of us, love may have always been crazy, even when you're dealing with it on a familiar family level. So, we have to be careful that we are understanding what these red flags are, and that we're paying attention to them. I call it following your intuition, right? So if I meet somebody, I can know within probably 60 seconds if I like them. Because see, all my intuition is in my belly. And if my belly starts feeling funny or whatever, I know that I might need to let you go. Because there's something about you, that it's not sitting well with me. Now, I'm right 99% of the time, and I'm not being a woman by saying that. But there are some people that don't listen to their intuition at all and make excuses when their body is trying to tell you, hey, this is a dangerous situation, get out. Now, there's consequences when you ignore these red flags. And the main one is emotional drain, because you're sleeping, your body is resting, but your soul is tired because this person just gives you so much angst, and you're stressed and you're constantly anxious. What emotional drain does is it sneaks up on you, but if you catch it early, you can adjust before you lose your damn mind in this situation. What do you think of that, David?
When you were sharing, and you were talking about intuition and knowing the red flags and things of that sort. Before me and Tara started dating, I dated a young lady that had 2 kids by 2 different baby daddies. And I remember my father saying, "Son, are you sure about this?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm ready for this. I'm good. I'm good. I'm about to be a father, all this and that and the other." And, red flags that popped up for me were, when we would get in a fight, her, or we went to go and visit one of her baby daddies, and he was repeating back to me some of the things that he shouldn't have known. And I'm like, hold on, you shouldn't know that. So that means you talking to this cat. So that was a red flag for me. And just multiple different red flags that popped up, especially when we were arguing. This woman was crazy. This woman took the doorknob off the bathroom door with the screwdriver and came in the bathroom. I've locked myself in the bedroom. Sometimes domestic violence ain't always from the man. I can tell you that right now for myself. And I'm a big dude. I locked myself in the bathroom and it didn't go pretty for me. Let's just say that. And that was a red flag. My ass still know that time I was out, but it had happened before. And so I think we know, but I think for men, we've done so much, and we've sacrificed so much, and we've invested so much that we don't want to let go of that love. We don't want to let go of that, that feeling. And for me, I'm a Cancer, so when I love hard. And
Well, do you think it was love, David, or it was your
no, it wasn't.
perception of what love
No,
was?
it wasn't. No, it was the perception that I wanted it to be. And I'm so glad it wasn't, because holy shit, I can only imagine right now. But you are right. That wasn't love. I thought it was, but it was not at all. Because at the end of the day, I found out she ended up cheating and all this other stupid craziness. And so, it's just, I think we know the red flags. And like you said earlier, our parents also do too. And a lot of the times I think, our parents push us closer to that person. And then we don't think our parents know what they're talking about. And, like they say, keep living. Your ass will find out sooner or later. And, we just think we know it all. And so at that point, on that situation, he was correct, but not all the time. Our parents right, because once again of their traumas and their dramas. And my father is definitely not the best person to be getting advice from. And I think that's also something as well, is that if your significant other is getting advice, because you said this earlier, is getting advice from their friends, their family, first of all, they shouldn't have any idea of what's going on inside your household. If that person ain't sleeping inside your damn bed, they not paying the bills, or in that house, they shouldn't know shit. Mama, brother,
100%
sister,
agree.
nobody. Period. Because then you're painting a perception of that person only on the bad, and it's only one side. And then this person goes to the picnic, this person goes to the family reunion, and somebody look at that person, look at this side, motherfucker, right? And so
Yep.
that's all they do. And it ain't cool, right? And especially if the other person doesn't talk to their family or have that amount of family, you're always going to go see their family. It's not a good perception. So like it's and today is so damn hard with the different mindsets and the crazy shit that's going on in people's minds. And like I said, social media, and I talk about AI, and we do AI for our business. And yes, it's good, but it's also a detriment that people's attention span and just communication and listening and repeated patterns. That's one thing I effing hate, is repeated fucking patterns, and you lying to me. Don't lie to me. That's a red flag for me. Your ass lie to me, then I'm telling you right now, your ass is getting cut on the short list. I have not talked to my mama and my sister for a whole entire almost a year and a half for lying and doing stupid shit. Please believe I will cut your ass just as quick. So even my father, I haven't talked to my father in 2 years now for some stupid shit. So don't get it twisted. I keep it real. I don't care if my mother, my father, whoever.
Because if you keep those people in your life, all they do is keep you embroiled in a bunch of doo doo all the time. and you
Yep.
don't want that. When my son got married, I said to him, I don't know, I don't want to know about the problems that you're having with your wife, because you will done made up and kissy face, and I'm still mad that she put you through the shit. So keep it to
Bingo.
yourself if we want to maintain this relationship with me and her. Because I don't play about
Mhm.
my kids. You know.
Mhm.
The other thing that you see is a lack of self-esteem. Because you start thinking, are you too sensitive? Or,
Mhm.
maybe I'm doing something. That's a red flag. That's not right. You're not
Yeah.
too sensitive. You need to pay attention to that. And like you
Mhm.
said, repeated patterns. Keep jumping up in the face. Keep fussing. Keep yelling. No, you need to get up out of that. I actually had a friend one time that was married to this man, and he would beat her. And he
Mhm.
didn't care if someone was around, he beat her.
Oh,
And
damn.
I'm like, so I was babysitting for her one day, and I called my dad and I said, he's in here beating her. And my dad said, get yourself, get your stuff, and leave the house. Cause this
Yeah.
ain't the first time he did it. And don't go put your big mouth in something and he whoop your ass and I got to come over and kill him. But when I asked her, why do you do it? And her answer was, because I love him. And I said, so you love him when he got his foot in your ass or his fist down your throat? I never could get it. I still don't get it. I don't want to get it because I choose not to live my life like that. But her self esteem was so low because he obviously had no respect for her that he would do it to her in front of other people. And then, like you said, the repeated past patterns. But here's what I say, there's missed opportunities because while you're busy ignoring these red flags and putting up with this bullshit, healthy love gonna walk right past you, because it's gonna be that guy that maybe he don't dress as well as others, maybe he's a nerd, but this guy will love you completely while you're looking for this person that you have, this image that you have set forth in your mind that treats you like shit. So if you go ahead and get out of the mess before you get too deep and too entrenched in it, then you're available for someone that absolutely does have your best interest at heart. Ignoring red flags, it's not doesn't make you romantic. It makes you stupid. It makes you a drama magnet. If it feels off, it's because it is off. So how do you spot the red flags and deal with them like a grown ass adult? One, listen till you go. That uneasy feeling is a flashing neon sign. Don't mute it. Listen to your gut. Document behavior. Because sometimes you can say, well, he did this. Girl, write down what he, how long he did it for. Put it all in there. Because when you go back and you look at it, you can say, this is a pattern of behavior that I will not tolerate. And set your boundaries. If you say no, make sure that your no means no. Because when someone does not honor your boundaries, they are trying to control you. And unless that's something that you like and you think that makes your man manly, then you need to get up out of there and don't deal with that. And then talk to somebody you trust. And I don't mean talk to these women that are already in jacked up relationships themselves and think that they're getting treated badly by this guy because he loves them. And then decide early. Don't take and say, well, I'm going to date him for 6 months. That's 6 months of your life you can't get back. And that you have been in an emotional turmoil, possibly subjecting yourself to physical abuse, but definitely mental and emotional abuse. Decide early, get clarity, and move on. So here's some real truth about red flags. Red flags aren't obstacles, they're guides. And we need to use them as such. And love isn't supposed to hurt every day. If it does, it's not romance. Someone putting their hands on you or talking disrespectfully to you or yelling in your face, that's not love. And then walking away, it's not defeat. well, I can't leave because folks gonna say I can't maintain a relationship. No, get out of there. That's called survival. And stop being polite to people that treat you like an option. You gonna take and fix yourself to fit into somebody else's chaos. Nah, respect yourself enough to see that that's a red flag and act on it. So here's the other part. Sometimes we are already willing to say that we see the red flags, but what if we're the red flag? David, have you ever been the red flag?
Absolutely. I won't deny that I have been in my past relationship.
Oh, looks
And
like we might be having a little technical difficulty. Well, let me tell you how you can determine if you're the red flag. The people often, if you're back with me, David,
can you hear me? Can
I
you hear me?
can.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. No, I was saying, yes, I have been, the red flag in my past relationships. Like I said, understanding the patterns that I was taught, understanding the turmoil and the visceral reactions and how I responded in life. And when I was able to, go to, some actual, classes and some seminars and get some help. I was one of those black people that, was not afraid to say, hey, I'm going to this course. Especially us as black people, we think there's a problem with going to get help or not going to see a psychiatrist or not going to some self-improvement course. And it doesn't have to be a psychiatrist. Hell, go sit down and read a book, more than, some BS, and actually do some work. Now you can go online. There's multiple things that you can do for you to be able to uncover those traumas. So yes, I have absolutely been the red flag and been so deep and drunk, right, in not knowing those things that I've ruined relationship. Absolutely.
Right. And if we all will be honest about it, we all have red flag tendencies. You know, I've been called hard to handle, or draining, but a lot of that was a defense based on how I was raised. Because I was raised in a religious cult, Jehovah's Witnesses. And so for so long, you were not allowed a voice. You were not allowed to read anything except for their literature. So you were raised in this kind of bubble. Well, then I'm going to jump out here and get in the real world, except for I didn't trust anybody. So, yeah, I might be scheduled to go on a date with you, and I might be the one that'll cancel at the last minute because you know what? I don't think I trust this person. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm just going to ghost you. If you push people away when things get serious or get too comfortable, that's a red flag. And I've already said that in my past I did those things, but those repeated patterns indicate a behavior on your side that needs corrected. It's not just bad luck. Do you respect other people's limits? Or do you push guilt and manipulate them? Because, see, a lot of times you don't want it to be your fault. So you're going to turn around and say, well, it's something that that person did. Here's the red flag. If you consistently override other people's boundaries, then it's time for you to reflect and check yourself. Because healthy love equals mutual respect, not control. And that was one of the problems that I dealt with, trying to finally take back control of my life and kind of overdid it by getting defensive and blaming other people for stuff that it wasn't their fault. It was mine. Or just saying, nope, I didn't do nothing like that. I don't want to hear it anymore. You know, also quick to anger. I have truly tampered down the way I was. Because you talking about somebody would pop off if you looked at them wrong? Most definitely. But again, like you said before, I had a whole lot of work to do. So I went to therapy and I realized that, girl, you are jacked up. You got some things you need to fix so that people can take you seriously. And that you're not inflicting damage on others that you claim that others inflict on you. And it's okay to have these issues. The problem comes in when you don't realize that those are your issues and not the other person, and you don't go and seek help. So you got to ask yourself, am I bringing peace or chaos into the relationship? And do I lift other people up or do I drain them? And if me, would I stay friends with me if I was the other person? And if your answer is no, then you need to fix it. And do partners, friends, everybody tell you the same thing about you and your attitude, that you're too much, that you're hard to handle, that popping off? Then you need to understand that there's an issue there. So being a red flag doesn't have to be permanent. It's awareness that allows you the opportunity to grow. And once you see them, one, you need to take responsibility. Two, you need to seek therapy, coaching, or self work. And then three, you need to learn some healthier patterns so that you can discontinue that behavior. Remember, red flags aren't obstacles, they're guides. So I got some homework for you guys. Here it is. Think about one relationship in your life right now that's romantic, friendship, or work, and identify one red flag that you've ignored. And I think all of us can look back and find that. I think I can find 10 right off the top of my head. Write down what red flag is costing you. Is it costing you emotionally, mentally, or even physically, or all three? And then decide what action you need to take, what boundaries you need to put in place, what conversation you need to have, or do you just need to leave the damn situation alone? Get out, own it. Because the longer you ignore it, the more expensive it gets in your emotional self worth, your confidence in yourself. Don't stay there and let yourself be torn down. Red flags are emotional early warning signs, and treat them like they actually matter because they do. Well, David, I appreciate you joining me today. I appreciate your honesty. And we're going to wrap this up. Red flags aren't insults, they're not drama, they're protection. And ignoring them doesn't make you romantic or hopeful. I'm gonna just tell you, it makes you a damn punching bag and it makes you stupid. Don't do it. Listen to your gut, respect your boundaries, and never ever settle for less than a love that lifts you up instead of draining you. Now, if this episode of this podcast opened your eyes to some things, remember, I want you to know spotting red flags is a superpower. Use it wisely, use it unapologetically with zero regrets, and stay savage and stay smart. I want to thank you for joining me today, David. Your insight was great. Hopefully, we can do this again. And if this episode resonated with you, I invite you to continue your healing journey with me. Visit cdking.com, explore my healing journals and merchandise that's created to report reflection, growth, and self care. You can also stay connected with me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, or you can reach out to me directly on cdkingnaturals at gmail.com. But until next time, be gentle with yourself. Healing isn't linear, and you're worth every single step you take to reach the healing journey. Again, David, thank you. Would you like to tell the people where they can contact you, David?
Absolutely. You all are more than welcome to follow the hello LLC.io. We are a digital infrastructure company that we are able to help companies and businesses implement AI agents, automation, and foundation. But more importantly, people have to understand that AI is the future or was the future, but it's at our doorstep now, and implementation is the key. So that's what we do. We can show you, teach you, or do it for you, just as we're doing for Miss Denise right now with this amazing Hot Mess Unfiltered. So definitely go and listen to all of her podcasts and her Biz in a Box, and be on the lookout for more of these amazing podcasts in the Hello Plaza Metaverse. And so we're excited to continue this episode 3 to 1 million and get y'all shit together so we can all be better.
Thank you, David. We're going to have you back again. So, guys, be gentle with yourself. Remember, just being a hot mess doesn't mean that you're imperfect or something's wrong with you. You healing. And you're healing your hot mess along the way. Meet me next time back at the same place. Hot Mess Unfiltered. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.
Hi there. I'm Denise King, the heart behind CD King Naturals, where self-love meets natural wellness. With over 29 years as a compassionate nurse and a passion for empowering you, I've created a space to help you embrace bliss, balance, and confidence. From personalized coaching sessions and e-courses to empowering self-care e-books, everything we do is designed to inspire you to thrive. Why choose us? Because we're not just a business, we're a movement for self-love, empowerment, and holistic living. Ready to take the next steps? Visit us today at cdkingnaturals.com. Your journey to bliss starts here. CD King Naturals, empowering self-love, naturally.